Okay, if you would like to gather over in this corner, we'll get started. I'll let Bob kind of introduce himself. As an architect, I'm very impressed with Bob's work because it, for me, tends to have a real architectural character. And if I was able to sketch, I think I would love to sketch, paint, and draw like Bob does. So I guess you could say I'm kind of welcoming one of my heroes here. So, Bob, please.
Oh yeah, there we go. Pleased to be here and hello? There we go. Pleased to be here as part of this honoring Walter Hook and his legacy. And okay. Yeah. Hello. Tasting. I brought a DVD along with some of my work on it. Actually, I had given Warren a CD first of some X-rays that I had taken a couple months ago when I had an accident, and so maybe I should have just shown the X-rays, and I could have gotten out of this speech. But anyhow, I guess I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a Montana native. I was born in Lewistown and grew up in Helena. Went to school at Bozeman, and then in the early '70s, I left with my girlfriend to go to Seattle, and ended up staying there, getting married, and staying there for 30 years. We have 2 kids, and I think because our parents are both here, we're both here, they're both passed away now, but we came back, and we couldn't get Montana out of our system. I'm sure you know what I mean. I live in south of Missoula in the Sapphires, and I'm surrounded by beauty, and get up to the waterfalls and the Bitterroots as much as I can in the summer. I teach in town with adult ed, and I have a workshop that I teach in the fall every year with an artist from Seattle named Catherine Gill. Let's see, got some notes here. In Seattle, I ended up in a sign trade, and it turned out to be a very good trade for me. It gave me independence and a way to make a living by the skills that I had acquired, and really helped in my training as an artist. When you lay out a sign, you become very conscious of not just the letters, but the spaces between the letters. And I think that has carried over into my work and into the design work that I do. Most of the work I have up here are sketches, drawings that I've done from the sketches in my sketchbook that I do on site. And so they're a lot about pattern and texture, and a lot of the experience in the sign trade carried over into my work, I think. I do a lot of plein air painting, which is painting outside in the open air. That's really very challenging and very fun, and never really had done any of that too much in school or really when I was painting signs. Towards the end of our stay in Seattle, I had a little more freedom. My kids were grown, and my wife started her practice. And incidentally, she's a doctor in town here, Dr. Phinney. She's a family practice doc with the community hospital. I joined an art league out in Seattle, which was my first real experience of watching artists work from life. And I got a chance to see some really, really great artists work from life, and it really inspired me. And I started painting outside and making friends and getting some painting buddies. And so when I came to Missoula, I didn't have the sign thing to do too much, so ended up teaching and getting out more and painting, and have had a real good time. A lot of the images that we see here are local. I like to come to Bonner, Milltown area because of the subject matter. I love the old houses and the rustic kind of subject. But I like a lot of subjects. I miss the nautical stuff that was so available out in Seattle. But there are compensations, the waterfalls being first among them. These are water media paintings, the waterfalls, and I do them as I do my drawings from my sketchbooks. My sketchbook is a miniature studio, and I can take it anywhere, and so anything is my subject. And so when I go up to the waterfalls, I don't have to carry a big bag of paints. I can just take my sketchbook and get the general idea, get the shapes, and make some notes. And I've got some of my actual sketchbook pages scattered throughout. So let's just start going through them. This is a typical waterfall sketch. In a lot of my teaching, I talk about interlocking shapes and value control and texture, and in a natural setting, especially waterfalls, because there's so much change. It can be real challenging to see where the pattern is that helps you to make visual sense. So some of the waterfall drawings won't be as clear as where there's an architectural hard edge kind of subject matter. Such as this. I started, I kind of got used to the idea of drawing in ink because it made me commit my mind without doing a lot of erasing. It made me work real deliberately. And then I started using a soft carpenter style of drawing pencil to lay in my values. I could do broad areas, I could do lots of textures real quick, and I could define a value, shape, and area while at the same time giving the texture. Okay. I don't want to talk too loud. Is that okay? It's really ringing in my ears. Okay. What's that? Yeah, maybe I'll stand over here. This is in Hawaii, and it was an old boathouse, and I just really like old junky places. It's my type of subject, and there's a reason for that. This is one of the first watercolors I did on gesso paper. I admire traditional watercolors, but I got tired of all the failure. You have to really do a lot of practice. You have to fail a lot. You have to get by those failures. And if you paint gesso on the paper or on board, or even on canvas, gesso is like a latex house paint with a lot of titanium in it, so it's opaque white. And it's a sealer, so the pigments float on the surface, and so they actually don't become as subdued. And also, when you get done with it and it looks terrible, you can just wash it off and start over. So anyway, this was I think one of my first ones where I really got excited about all the texture that was possible with watercolor on that type of surface. Hawaii again. I do some animals, not too much. It's pretty challenging. It's not my forte. But buffaloes or bison are so amazing. I really like drawing them. I've ironically, now that I have kind of gotten the realism under my belt, I'm getting bored with it. So lately, in the past few years, I've been doing more abstract, non-objective kinds of stuff, and this is a watercolor. It's real experimental and fun. I've got a printing press now too, an etching press, and so you'll see some images of it in there. This is a large painting, probably 2 by 3. Again, it's from my sketchbook, and not working on site gives you a little more leeway with color and atmosphere, and just working with color harmony and experimenting a little bit more. It's still capturing the essence of the place. The shape, design that you come up with is really what determines that sense of space and light. This is very subdued. It's a real bright picture. It's a plein air piece. I just did it one year. It was cold, and so I did it pretty fast. And a lot of times when you're outside, especially, you'll do an underpainting of the shapes rather than first you do a sketch, a thumbnail, small thumbnail sketch to get the pattern. Paint the whole painting in one color, in this case blue, and that allows you to paint fast. It allows you to have a strong design when you get all done. And it also sets the tone for the picture. In a summer picture where there's lots of greens, a good idea is to do an underpainting in red, because the greens then are accented and intensified by the little specks of red that come through. Watercolor, one of my first waterfalls before I realized I really liked doing waterfalls. It's kind of oriental. I very much admire Japanese and Chinese art, and to me, it's something to aspire to. This is Bonner, back alley. This is this drawing from the sketch. This is a scene in the Bitter. It's exciting, I think, because of the primary color arrangement, red, yellow, and blue. And I try to have a dominance in my work. So yellow, green being dominant, strong shape, cool colors receding, loose handling. This is the background coming through. It's fast and loose, and the fence there is just scratch paint through. This isn't oil. I like working outside in oil the best. Acrylics dry so fast that it dries up in your brush. So for plein air work, watercolor oil through the ticket. This is watercolor on gesso again from my sketchbook. And because I work so fast, trying to get the scene, I think some of my work gets a little cartoony, but I'm not apologetic for that. Kind of the way I am. So this is another planer oil. This was really fast. I'm really more interested in that immediate type of painting than I am in getting a painting, going to the studio and duplicating it. I would much rather be outside doing new work, doing quick stuff. That's just my temperament. That's Bonner again. I don't have a drawing of that one. I love all the trees and the old houses. That's that painting over there. It's an oil plein air painting. Bonner, that's that same place from the other side. Again, Bonner, that same street, the same alley back here. That's the piece they used for the imitation. That was looks kind of cool here. This painting's warmer. It's a lovely, intense day. Plein air paintings is the same as any kind of painting from life. There's a lot of times you don't really succeed, but when they come off, it's very very fun process. So waterfalls, not a particularly good picture, but I love the abstraction of this one and the texture. Okay, this is one of my most recent pieces. It's a monoprint, and it's real exciting to me because I don't really know what I'm going to say until I pull the paper off and I see. There's a lot of surprises, and it sort of develops one print after another. Each one is unique. It's not the standard printing process where you're making an addition. So there may be some other images that you'll see. Yeah, Buddha shape or the butterflies, and that's because they came off the same plate, but in a new generation, a new print. Kind of what I'm interested in doing. Can we go back to that one? Can we go back one? Okay, now. This is on the canal. In Seattle, I could work in acrylic. This is an acrylic painting because it was moist and the paints didn't dry out. And because I worked fast, I didn't get away with it. In Montana, I had to stop using acrylic. This is the ship canal, early morning. This is out there too. This is acrylic also. In my teaching, I tell people to squint a lot. So squint at this picture, and you can really see the value separations and how all the sky is really in a very, very minimal value range, and the handling's very fast, and you'll notice how texture comes forward, like on the foreground grass of dry brush area. So these are all things that you learn, and I'm really unconcerned about some of the problems and errors. Like I just noticed up in the mountain, there's a streak up there. To me, it's more important to have that moment than it is to have such a refined idea of this detail. This is that same building in the afternoon, and again, it's really kind of unfinished, but very lovely colored piece. I don't do too much still life. This is a pretty big painting. Another monoprint. This is one of the first monoprints I did, and each one is an adventure. And again, a lot of them I can't resolve. A lot of them I have a pile of them that I need to work on. Sometimes I get them out and I can resolve them after they sit a while. But that's Jay's before Jay's closed. And again, if you squint at that, you can see that sense of light is created by the contrast. And the cool dominance of the picture is really accented by the warm light on the mountain. Kind of what I was interested in. That's at the end of Higgins by the X's. These are all watercolor on gesso. Some drawing. The other thing I do is I put marble dust in the gesso, which gives it a tooth. So I can draw with pencil, drags the pencil off. A lot of gesso is real shiny. A night scene. That's a crystal video. I love that graphic. It's been there for a long time, I guess, and I think the last thing I saw, nobody knows who did it. I think it's anonymous. It's one of the nicest graphics, I think, in Missoula. That you may recognize is the dam. I haven't been out there since I got that all torn down. It's really neat what they've done out there. I do a lot of figure drawing, and sometimes I do portraiture. It's not my forte either. This is a close friend in a drawing group. A lot of times I'll draw the model for a while, and because I work fast, I'll get tired and start drawing an artist. And, draw the artist drawing the model. And this is Milltown, and this is one of those paintings that flew off the brush. And if you paint enough, I think that happens more often. But yeah, just real intuitive, and the detail draws you in, and the color draws you in, and just a magical moment. And now there's a couple of big sheds in that yard, and it's not there anymore. So, another monoprint. These slides are not doing justice to them. They're a little darker, but the ideas here are just really exciting. See, there's that Buddha. You see the Buddha head there above the window door? That's from the plate. That's called a ghost. The second or third pull of that image off of the plate. So you're taking the residue ink off of that image. So it's chain reaction type of thing that happens. It's a plein air piece out in Stevensville. Another waterfall. This is one of the few paintings that I have that I've actually painted from a painting. I find it really frustrating to paint from a painting, or even paint from a photograph. I find it almost impossible. It's too boring. But when you paint from a painting, it's necessary to, at some point, to forget about that painting and not duplicate it, but realize that you're actually creating a whole new thing, and thus you're able to resolve it. But the original painting is better. This is Garnet. I think I had that somewhere. Oh yeah, I got color on it there. So actually, because of the value of the colors on that drawing, I think I lost some of the freshness and the strength of this pattern and this design of the original sketchbook piece.
How does it get from here to here? Is this two different pieces?
Two different pieces. Mm-hmm.
Sketch it again and paint it?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And this is on watercolor paper, so I can do the washes. I've had a friend that tells me that these lines that are in some of the sketches, you'll notice more, they bother her. But to me, it's part of the process. And these aren't meant to be finished pieces, so try to enjoy that part. Sometimes they line up with things, and I just feel a need to go out. I leave space around the drawing so I can write notes about the light or the shape or what inspires me about the subject. This is a gouache, which is opaque watercolor. And it's a fun, fast painting. It's watercolor, but opaque. This is the Hat and Boots in Seattle. It was originally a gas station. I think it was built in '55, and I think it was about 3 years ago I got hired to go out and restore the boots. And it was a 2-week process, and hired a a lift, and all the boots have stitching, double or triple stitching around all the shapes and real bright colors. I should have thrown a picture of the finished product, but it was a great, fun project to be involved in. They just got the hat finished too. It's bright red. So you can see the doors and at the gas station, the doors were, boots were the restrooms, and the hat was the station. And a piece of Americana. This is up at John's Root. Some oil, obviously in the fall. A watercolor on gesso again. I like the sense of time in this one. I think because of the blurriness of the yellow car and the other car, there's a lot of movement suggested, and with the birds, and I like the feeling of this one. The blue dominance with the warm secondary accents. This is a plein air piece I did out at Fort Missoula. I don't know how I did that sky, but I'd like to know, because I'd like to do it again. It really is full of light, and again, I'm not really concerned with roughness in these areas. I really feel like it captures the feeling of the place and the light. This is oil done in Marysville, at the ghost town. You probably recognize this. This is on the Blackfoot over here in Milltown. Great. I haven't been there since they've changed it around. I think it's similar. Is the water lower now?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. It's not the only moving picture. Yeah, this is the first time I've done an installation with duct tape and baling twine. I need to reinforce these things a little bit. This is that same area. Sketch. This is a painting from a sketch. This is in Butte. It's a pretty fun drawing. A lot of hard lines and deep lines. It's real graphic. That's actually very much what that looked like. It was when I was doing the hat and boots. It was a huge job, and I would sleep till about 5, and then I'd wake up kind of nervous. So I'd go out and for an hour right at dusk and go down the alleys and draw stuff. And this apparently was a float car or something for one of the Fat Tuesday celebrations or something out there. Another monoprint. This is a sgraffito technique that I came up with, and where I tape off an area and paint blue or a dark color on with watercolor, go over that with gesso, and take a stylus or a pencil or something and draw through. So the line work is actually done real quick, so it's spontaneous. And it's not very serious art, but it's very enjoyable to do, and lets you work with color and color harmony and repetition, and it's a fun process. This is a more realistic. This is an acrylic scene out in Seattle, Pier 55. from a photograph, actually. This is in a refuge, a real quick plein air piece. Another monoprint. It's almost as fun to name them as it is to do them. A few animal pieces that I've done. It's a little bit abstract. Another monoprint. You can see the Buddha shape again. That's from that same plate. You can see the eyes and the butterflies. So I should have put those two together so you could kind of compare and see the different parts of it. Really fun process. Still life. A few still lifes. Good color harmony in this. Dominantly cool. So that the warm accents really show up. Here's that barn out there again. This is a morning scene.
How big are these paintings? How big is that painting?
14 by 18, like that. It's a plein air piece. That's a stream scene. Drawing here is here somewhere. Same area. Monoprint. I started doing, I found that from my sgraffito process. Sgraffito is done in ceramics a lot, where you cover a pot with glaze and you take a stylus and draw through the glaze and it exposes part of it and you get line work. And I found that if I drew on cardboard, soft foil cardboard, that I could then roll colors on and I would get this line. And working on black paper, I get a black line. So I started doing that, and these were very addicting to do. I didn't want to stop. There's some more. I love the metallic effect of this one. Again, not something I tried to do, but something that grew out of the process. I think this is an acrylic too, done out in the Pacific Northwest. Nice cool dominance, and you can see just a few worms that really help to pick up those cool colors.
I think that's it, Bob.
Okay. Any questions? Well, thanks for coming, and enjoy the rest of the art.